Today I want to tell you about how I got started in solo travel. Contrary to popular belief, I did not just wake up one day and say, yes, I'm going to travel solo. I'm going to go to all these countries and live out of a backpack, not plan anything and stay with random strangers and trust people. No, that didn't happen. I had to work up to it. I had to take baby steps. I had to get comfortable with being alone, get comfortable with the distance, get comfortable with language barriers, and all of this, it took time. It took practice. It took different trips. It took different experiences. And with enough practice, I got to a point that I finally knew what I enjoyed, what was best for me, because after hearing my stories, it might inspire you. So let me tell you about my first international experience. I was 17. I went to Mexico. Even though I was sheltered by having local chaperones and being in a group of other people my age, I got my first taste of being somewhere other than my home, and it was exhilarating. First on my own trip, when I went to Greece at age 25, I ended up signing up with a Contiki tour. Contiki, as you know, is a tour group that has a bunch of itineraries, 20 to 30-year-olds together, and everything is pre-planned and itinerized for you. I wanted to get everything out of Greece that I could because I actually decided to arrive in Athens a few days earlier before meeting the tour group. And I did that because I wanted to, I wanted to break out a little bit. I wanted to have some time to myself. I wanted to spread my wings and fly a little, knowing that in 2 days I would come back to the comfort of being in the group. Comfort and safety and planning of the Contiki tour. Booked a ferry to an island called Hydra. It's an island in Greece where there are no automobiles. The entire island is accessible by walking. Super idyllic harbor. And it was really cool. Honestly, I felt like a grown-up. It was probably the first time I'd ever went somewhere and sat down and ordered a nice meal by myself with a bottle of wine and really, really enjoyed the freedom. So I made it back to Athens. I made it on the tour. And, while I met some people that I really liked and enjoyed, I started to feel trapped on this 9-day tour. That itinerary really traps you. When they tell you with shared accommodations and sharing transportation, it's actually a pretty affordable way to travel. I knew that I could have done it cheaper by myself, and it would have been more to my liking. So after returning from Greece and Turkey, a couple years went by. I felt the itch, I felt the urge bubbling up inside. Costa Rica was the next logical choice in my evolution of solo travel because it was relatively easy to get to from the US, being in Central America. I spoke some Spanish. It's one of the safest countries in Central America, and I caught a flight deal. Costa Rica would be my first trip, entirely alone. No meeting up with groups. Everything was up to me, and it changed everything. I relied on myself. I got from point A to point B by myself, communicated by myself, and then I realized this can be done. This can be done when you shed your fears. And not only that, but whatever worries I had about being lonely were completely unfounded because I met people at the hostel, I met people on the volcano hiking, I met people on the beach, and I made a lot of friends, some that I still am in touch with today. My next trip was my epic European vacation, my 1 month, 10-country trip. Again, that was a big step. And it really challenged me and proved to myself that I can accomplish anything, that I can do anything. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at today is that solo traveling is like climbing a mountain. You've got to practice. You've got to work up to it. Push yourself each time in a little bit of a different way. Maybe it's the percentage of time that you are planning to be alone, the distance, maybe it's your length of stay, maybe it's how you plan it. And if you plan it, or if you leave it to the fates. My point is that work within your own limits. Don't think you have to go from 0 to 60, and dabble. Give it a try, see what you're comfortable with, But then each trip you plan after that, push yourself a little bit more. And let me give you an example. My mom has never been out of the country. And one of the things that she told me not too long ago, actually a year ago, she wishes that she would not have limited herself and tried more things. My dad passed in September of last year, and now my mom is, trying to slowly gain the courage to get out there, to see some new things, to do some things by herself, to rely on herself. And it starts with a train ride. It starts with a trip that she knows she's going on, but I planned. She's taking these baby steps that will prepare her enough to get across the ocean and get out of the country. If she would have taken the plunge without being ready, well, then maybe she wouldn't have enjoyed it. So go at your own pace, do what feels comfortable, but challenge yourself, push yourself a little bit, and then you see that you can accomplish anything. That's all, friends. Let me know what you think. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment. I love to read them, and have a great weekend. Ciao.